Hey everybody, Tim Dwyer here from South Australia, and yes, today will be an awesome day if you choose. Hey guys, this is going to be a an interesting little video. I don't think there'll be a PowerPoint, and I just want to cover a few things. Firstly, I want to thank everybody out there in the land of speaking out. Sam Bamford, Topher Field, all these guys. They've got tremendous followings, and it is great to see. And their presentation style, I think, is wonderful, and it's good that they're getting the point across. Same with many, many, many others. Wayne Glue is putting out some absolutely stonkering stuff. But the problem we got is everyone's listening. No one's doing anything. We'll come to that in a minute. Now, we got to understand that our constitution is a contract. It's a deed of contract between us, the people, and the crown at the time. And it is also a stated trust. It's a documented trust of which every public servant in the country has breached the trust, right? They've breached the trust. That's all there is to it. And people like Gough Whitlam and Malcolm Fraser and John Howard and Bob Hawke and Paul Keating, these people, these low-life scum, are the people who put in place the demise of this magnificent nation. And Johnny Howard's still alive. But you can't tell me that he did not know prior to what was happening in Tasmania that it was going to happen. He was instructed by the United Nations. There's documents on that. Anyhow, moving right along. And then, of course, we've got the current ones. We've got Elbow Sleaze Guts. We've got Kevin the Dud. We've got the redhead Julia Gillard. We've got all these people. We got Morrison, who orchestrated to kill tens and tens of thousands of people with a bioweapon here 6 years ago. Nobody's been arrested. They've wiped out our manufacturing. They've done all this. We had the Banking Royal Commission where the banks literally misappropriated billions of dollars. Now, billions are thousands of millions. And, what do you know? No one went to jail. Malcolm Turdball, him and his mates, no, nothing happened. And then, of course, we got to go along and figure it out. Why did nothing happen? Well, the legislative authority in this country remains in the Parliament or the Parliament of the Commonwealth. What we're being ruled over at the moment is the Australian Parliament or the Parliament of Australia. That is a con job of the highest degree. It really is. Now, this will continue. All this bastardry of this country will continue. Why? Well, because you're going to go to the MCG and jump up and down and get excited about a football game. You're going to go to your local footy and get all fired up. You're going to go and watch rugby or cricket. You're going to go and do something, and you don't realise it. But you, the spectators, you're the one being played. Take your focus off what's destroying your life and put it on millionaires running around a green paddock, kicking a bag of wind through wooden sticks. You pay a fortune to get in, you get ripped off for your beer and your food, and you brag about it for weeks to come. You are the problem. It's the old adage, entertain the masses and they won't revolt. It's proven pretty well. And so, you see, they've just dropped the 3 million pages of the Epstein documents. Oh, hello, has anybody been arrested? Has anybody gone to jail? No. And they won't. Why? Because the judges, because the cops, because everybody's in the game except you and me. Around the world, they killed over 17 million people with the COVID jab. Who got arrested? Not Fauci, not Gates, not your doctor, not your boss who mandated you couldn't work unless you had. No, they just killed millions of people. Nobody got arrested. And, you know, the Epstein files, that's fine. They've dropped them off. And then what we got to understand is the woman in the federal police, Chrissy Barrett, the Australian Federal Police Commissioner, not the Australian Commonwealth Police Commissioner, the Australian Federal Police Commissioner, and there is a difference, said that the Bondi massacre was not motivated by religion. I don't know what happened to that lone brain cell she had running around inside between her ears. It must have went on vacation. Or she must think our brain cells went on vacation. Now, in relation to the Epstein files, she will see nothing, she will know nothing, and she will do nothing. But lo and behold, if you speak out against little Suki Elbow, if you speak out against Penny Allwong, if you speak out against some Muslim out there who's preaching hatred to Australia and Australia must fall to Sharia law, oh shit, then you're in trouble. You'll go to jail. I might even go to jail for even mentioning this. And you see, this is how arse up it is. And this will not change until we actually do something, not complain. This is not about complaining. This is about figuring out we've got to do something. You see, the terrorists out there in the world are the ones walking around in the $500 suits, flying around in private jets, having meetings that you and I aren't invited to, making deals that will just destroy this country and every other country out there for the sport and entertainment of these people. It's just that stupid, really. You see, I think Fraser Anning had it right. Years ago, he said, when all the guns have been banned and taken from you, and when all the words have been censored and you're not allowed to speak out about anybody or anything, and when all our history has been erased, the statues pulled down, the books destroyed, and when every freedom that you've got has been taken from you, the freedom of prayer, the freedom of association, the freedom to even vote against the political elite, only then, when you discover that you should have spoken up, you should have stood up, you should have woke up and done something, it'll be too late. It'll be too late. You see, lawmakers put themselves into a state of war against society when they endeavor to destroy our God-given rights, our life to liberty, our property. They're stealing our property from us. They're doing it by title. The banks are working. Rod Culleton's doing an awesome job bringing the banks and the Lands Titles Office, which, by the way, have all been sold to foreign countries here in Australia. He's doing a great job of bringing them to heel. And that's going to get very exciting. You see, an unconstitutional statute is not law at all. It is the undoing of God's law. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 1298. You see, everything these people are doing is unconstitutional. Harry Talbot Gibbs, now, he was a High Court Justice, and he said, I therefore have come to the conclusion that the current legal and political systems in use in Australia and its states and territories has no basis at law. All they've got is threat and fear. That's all they've got. And so, you know, the Liberal and the Labor joined together and put the hate speech bills through, the gun bills through. We don't have a political system anymore. We just don't. Why? Oh, you're too busy at the footy and the cricket. You're too busy watching cooking shows. You're too busy thinking, what the hell will happen? What if I stand up? What if I do this? What if I say that? I might go to jail. Well, someone's got to go to jail, I guess. I don't know. But pretty soon the jails are full. And don't worry, they'll let the killers out to keep people with a big mouth in. That's how it works. You know, complaining without proposing a solution, it's just called whining. So don't complain about the things you're not willing to change. If you're not willing to stand up and walk into a politician's office and say, hey, we've had an absolute bloody guts full, you and your lot, you're out. Stop complaining. Stop whinging. Go watch footy. Go watch TV. Go do something. Polish the grease nipples on your Tirana. I don't know. You see, your freedom must be taken back. The criminals, they'll never volunteer to return it to us. We must take it back. You know, you look at the pictures of when the people all went to Canberra and the big rally up there. Imagine that was only about 1 million, 1.5 million. Imagine 10 million. Imagine 15 million. Now, I don't know where you go to the toilet, but I've got there's a big toilet there and it's got a flagpole on top of it. We could all go in there and take a dump because that's about all it's good for. Fill it full of more crap because it's just full of crap at the moment. It really is. You see, when did we ever vote for the UN to become our masters? Why on earth would we surrender our sovereignty to a bunch of tossers in the UN, predominantly made up of corrupt dictatorships, despots, right? And the Liberal and Labor Party and the Greens, they sold you out. They sold us. They sold us. And that place where they all go to work in Canberra, right? That's the headquarters for the destruction of Australia. And everybody that works in there, all participants, they're committing treason just by the simple fact of being there. That's how it's working. And okay, last time we went there, the Australian Federal Police, they pulled out their big silent weapons. Well, this woman wouldn't be beyond doing the same. This is how smart she is. She says the Bondi massacre was not motivated by religion. You know, you can give up all your guns, but don't expect the criminals to give up theirs. That's just how it works. So go back to the footy, go back to the cricket, yell and take your kids, indoctrinate them that this is what life is all about. Take your kids to the football and the cricket and have them jump up and down and yell and cheer and scream and think that this is what life is. No, you're just teaching your children to be sheep, to be shorn and slaughtered. That's all you're doing. Entertaining the masses. They won't revolt. You see, our parliament, it's simply the business centre for the UN, the WEF and the WHO. It's the sanctuary for all the dishonourables in the country. It's the hideout of traitors and terrorists, thieves and cowards, and those who would destroy Australia. So what I'm going to put to you is this. Why not stand up? Why not do something? Why not stop bitching, whinging and complaining and pointing out what's wrong? We know what's wrong. We have to put a stop to it. So you can let me know when you're ready to put a stop to it. But I don't want to hear you whinging and complaining and pointing out every day what's wrong. What's wrong is we have traitors at the helm of this country. We are controlled by the United Nations, and every public servant from the chief justices in the High Court to the federal police to your state and federal politicians, every single one of them, according to our constitution, is a criminal. Period. End of story. Nothing flash, nothing fancy, just a plain common criminal. And when you're sick of bowing down to plain common criminals, you let me know, will you? That'd be great. My name's Tim Dwyer from South Australia. Catch you again another day. Bye.